Hey everybody, Dean Kulawira, IT recruiter at SRA Staffing. Just wanted to do a quick video. I was speaking to a candidate recently, and well, not speaking to a candidate, but a candidate reached out to me, and she wanted my help and advice on basically her situation was she was getting into IT, so she was interviewing at a company for an IT job. She had previous no previous IT experience, so she was asking me, Dean, how do I win this interview? How do I go in? How do I handle the interview? Because they're asking me about what experience I had before, and I don't have any IT experience, etc., etc. So just a quick tip for all of you who might be in a similar situation. So first of all, what you need to do is you need to have a good understanding of the role that you're applying for, or that you're interviewing for. Without that understanding, you can't really sell the right aspects of your background, right? So have a good understanding of the role that you're applying for, the company you're interviewing with. Know about the company, know about the role, the specifics about the role, right? In terms of what's expected, what problem they want you to solve, what your daily responsibilities and tasks would be. Really have a good understanding of that, if at all possible. If you're applying through a staffing agency, that should help you in getting more insider information about the role, who you're meeting with, etc., etc. So have that information down, right? Secondly, what you need to do is you need to go back and really sit down and take time to go back over the previous roles you've worked, your recent roles, and whatever roles were in your background, right? And in the case of this scenario, you might probably be from a different industry, a different type of position, different type of role, or whatever the case, or different type of companies you worked at. Whatever the case, you need to take note of in detail, as much detail as possible, what you did at each of those roles, what applications you were working with, what technology, what were your responsibilities, what were your duties, what type of projects were you doing, and what you basically need to do. If you're in such a situation where you're coming from a different background or a different industry, you're trying to get into a different background or a different industry. In this case, I'm talking about IT because I'm an IT recruiter. So what you need to do with those two parts: one, the understanding of the role that you're interviewing for, and two, the understanding that you have of your background, where you've been, where you're coming from. You need to tie those together. You need to really wrap those up and tie those together. So what you need to do is you need to go back to those roles and those companies or those industries you were working in the past, and I want you to take note of all the transferable skill sets you've used at those companies or those industries, or the roles or the positions, or whatever the case. Now, any role, no matter, even if it's two different roles from two separate industries, it shouldn't be too difficult to come up with some, or notice, or take note of what similarities exist between the two different types of roles or industries or whatever. Now, these could be actual technical hands-on skill sets that might be similar, that you can use from the old industry you were in, that you can apply to the new one that you're trying to get into. It could be soft skills. Maybe certain characteristics, or responsibilities or duties, or whatever the case. So you need to show how, even though you're coming from a different industry and a different background, that you bring a whole bunch of experience and transferable skill sets, which you can very easily apply for the new role in IT. So that's that, or IT, or if you're someone from a different industry, you're trying to go into a different industry, the same thing applies. So you need to make that connection from where you're from and where you want to go, and you need to make that connection. You need to tie those two together, and show how, even though you might have X number of years of experience in a totally different domain or industry or type of roles that you worked on, all that experience is going to be an asset, and that you're going to bring that to the table, and you'll be able to tie in all those similarities and apply that to the new role that you're going for, the new industry, or whatever the case. So that way the interviewer sees that, okay, maybe this person doesn't have any IT experience or whatever experience they're looking for, but they have a whole bunch of transferable skill sets which they can easily apply and pick up on the job for this role. And the only other concern would be, hey Dean, I'm competing against other people who've been in the industry and they've worked on these types of roles. Look, what you need to focus on, like, don't look at all that stuff as a disadvantage. And by the way, the candidate who reached out to me, this was another major concern of hers as well. Dean, like, I'm coming from I'm competing against other candidates who've been in IT, and she kind of felt like she was at a disadvantage. But you need to reframe that perception. It's not a disadvantage. You need to see it as a strength, because working in all those different in another industry, or maybe you worked in a couple of other industries or a couple of other types of jobs, that gives you perspective that you bring to the job that no other candidate who's purely been working in a specific industry or a type of role can bring. Like, and that's what makes you unique, right? So that's the way you got to sell it, and that's the perception you got to put on the table. If that's the case, if you're coming from another industry and you're concerned about competing with other candidates who have experience in the specific industry or the role. So that's what you got to do, is switch the perception, right? So first of all, make the tie in the past experience with the future role you're trying to interview for. Show the similarities and how you have a transferable skill set, and show how, even though you've been in a different industry or maybe a couple of different industries, what that has helped you with is it's giving you perspective on it'll help you bring a totally different perspective to the company and to the role, simply because you're from a different industry and that you've been working in several different industries. So hope that tip helps out. Try it out, let me know how it goes. So that's an example of a way you can handle that, that situation if you're in that situation. Thanks so much for watching. My name again is Dean Kulawira. If you're an IT professional here in Toronto, Canada, be sure to reach out to me and connect with me. I should be able to help you at some point in your career, if not immediately, at some point in the future. If not, definitely look me up and connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm on YouTube as well. Let's connect, keep in touch, and let me know if there's any particular topics you want me to cover. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.